Excited to see him play. Excited to see if he can, on this occasion, live up to the hype. And Carnage, they've got to be the favorites for me.
All right, well, here we go. Best of 5 underway here. Starting off over at Manfield Night. And as always with South America, it is about getting a fantastic start, as we're going to see one. It's hit. Well, both posts eventually put in by Astromech. Well, we were talking about a blitzing start. That is exactly what that was.
Oh dear, and you know, I've got to already say, the man Drops has been just hyped up to no end by ourselves and, you know, everybody who watches him play throughout the regular season. He's just completely messed up there. That's a pretty routine clear and he's missed it, but immediately punished by Astromech. And like Leaf said, is this the combination of Astral and Atomic? I mean, that would be quite some combination.
It's not a player that you would necessarily want to go against. Right now, we're seeing that exact same player dance around in the opponent's side of the field. Drops, plays it over to Brad. As you will expect to see quite often this weekend. A lot of just allowing the midfield to go, wait for the ball to start heading over to you, and then just take over. Team's happy to see what the mechanic... It's almost considered a challenge of sorts. Can you out-mechanically beat me? And most teams will happily take that on.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why South American teams have always found success at LAN events. This kind of playstyle does well on LAN. You know, the fearless playstyle, mechanical plays, they're a lot more scary to go up against when you're not playing online, at home, in your usual setting. And you know, you've got that added pressure of maybe a live audience, definitely a lot of lights and cameras all around you. But yeah, online is a bit easier to handle this because you've just got so much more practice in this setting. It does make for super entertaining games, so that's why South American teams, I think, have been just so exciting ever since they made that first showing on the world stage. And it's just been getting better and better mechanically. They've been staying with the meta. I think being just close enough to the USE server helps that helps the region do so, because they get to play against NA's best.
Still seeing at least the attempt so far from Carnage to get back into this. Drops. Couldn't find himself a teammate, but they were already jumping for it. Oh, that's a huge miss. And they have got away with it. Almost off the block. Brad will eventually clear to the side, but Reppy, mate, you need to make sure you get contact on that in the future. Otherwise, your team is going to find themselves even further down.
Yeah, just misread it. He thought he could get off the curved part of the wall and side flip into the ball there, but he was just stuck to the wall a bit longer than he expected. You can't obviously flip when you're driving at speed around a curved surface, so just a bit of bad timing there. Now big chance for Snipes, but he's shut down by Brad, who's had a couple of key clears as the ball comes center. Drops. Starting to come to life here in game 1. Getting involved more as this series has progressed, as this game has progressed. And now he's turning early. That's a huge shot from the halfway line, and Astromech will clear it to the side.
Oh, they haven't quite got it right yet, but these shots not quite testing the defense just yet. Diving in challenge there from Drops, doesn't get anything for it, and that looks like the offense has fizzled out. We start heading in towards the latter part of game number 1. Reppy gets just bullied off it. Tries to find the pass to Brad. They've got to get all 3 members involved in this one just to keep the ball going. Drops all the way back into the midfield. Reppy looks to take a first-time shot. Might have been better served trying to find a double tap from something. He was never going to be able to generate too much power from there. Now gets into the midfield. That's on target. And Astromech has doubled up.
That's a fantastic challenge. Look at that pass from Jan. He just came out the blind spot for Reppy there. Reppy had no idea that that pass was coming in. And, you know, slamming the ball into the corner wall has completely surprised Carnage Gaming. No one ready for the center. 2-0 for the underdogs.
We might be able to get ourselves a real match here. It's off the post, and Jan has got rid of it. They're looking to break away here and finish off game number 1. Instead, wasting a bit of time. Know that they've got to get through all 3 members. It is in the midfield. No way are they going to overcommit to that. Demo. Let's get the ball back out. Reppy's going to have to try and find his way through, but Jan will be quicker of the 2. It's just not looking clean enough at the moment from Carnage. They're getting themselves in positions, but every first touch seems to be a little bit off. Drops down to Yan. It's off the post. And 35 seconds left. This has to be a breakaway goal here for Carnage.
Yeah, that was extremely close to 3-0 from an own goal. Brad was just able to knock it into his own post instead of putting it into his own net. Yeah, like you said, time's getting away from Carnage. And although they've attempted a few passing plays out of their own half, it's been mostly hard clears and solo plays. And that's not something that's going to catch Rebel off guard this late in the game. They're all back. They're all just waiting for the hard clears to come to them. And a backflip from Reppy will probably seal the deal. I don't think there's enough time for Drops. Even if he does pinch this on target somehow, that's game. 1-0 to Rebel. Messy start for Carnage. They've got to clean up their act, Shogun, or else this could be a very quick trip to the lower bracket.
Yeah, certainly so. And one point I wanted to mention earlier on was just those first touches that we're seeing. We've seen them set up really well positioning-wise, but it's like they can't quite figure out, all right, are we going to try and, you know, grab hold of this ball and outplay our opponents, or are we just going to launch it and then see what we can do afterwards? Instead, we kept getting a weird middle ground where it was being mishit. And by the time they've got the ball back under their control, what was a slight overcommit from Rebel doesn't matter anymore. They've got players back. That window of opportunity is going to shut on them incredibly quickly. And we need to see Carnage with some more confidence and take their chances, because half chances are about as good as you're going to get.
Yeah, really well played by Rebel. You know, they were clinical in this game. They didn't get all that many opportunities, but they did pile on the pressure whenever they had the ball close to the orange net. They were always following up with, you know, one player, but never overcommitting. And we saw, you know, Carnage, meanwhile, getting caught out of position a few times because, you know, being down in that game, it just put a little bit of extra pressure on them to extend forward and to look for that equalizer. It never came. Now, in game 2, I expect to see some cleaner mechanical play from Carnage from the get-go here. This needs to happen right here, right now. It's best of 5 in an extremely unforgiving format.
Best of 5 used to feel so much longer than it is nowadays.
Yeah, defense still more consistent than it used to be, even in South America.
Used to be game to game. You weren't too sure what was going to happen, but teams have got very good this season at starting to lock down a certain pace and just get too far behind. And game 3 can sometimes just be a matter of formality rather than anything else. Brad has got no real support with him. Something that we're going to want to see from Carnage, just sort of figured out a little bit, you know, how confident they're willing to be at a shadowing a player up there to help. Again, Astromic's so quick to Yan. He'll be off target. But with that typical South American pressing playstyle, Rebel definitely seemed like the more confident of the two to try and enforce it. We were speaking earlier on, by the way, about how we expected True Neutral to glide their way through to the winners finals. So far, making a little bit more of a meal of it over on the Rocket RB. That's going to be our sister stream for today. Only 1-1 between them and PDHM. With it 1-1 as well in game number 3. So if you've got an extra tab, if you've got yourself an extra window, make sure you go and check that out. Because that ends up being an upset. You don't want to be the one that missed it. And speaking of missing it, Reppy will never do such a thing.
A great shot from Reppy, sneaking it by that last defender. As Tromic was under pressure, Drops attempting to drop straight down on top of him there with a demo. It's like kind of a dive bomb attempt there. But yeah, the positioning was a bit awkward from Astromic. He probably wants to be in the goal there rather than sitting off the goal line at the near post. He's just he's a target for Drops after the center comes in.
Yeah, too far forward. Can't control that one. Clear from Drops. Back into the midfield. It was available for anybody to claim. Stromic has been really good so far this series. Looks for the reset catch. Now comes out to Snip. Goes to Drops. Oh, he might have just...
Clean.
Yep, he has. That car did not know how to deal with this. And I think it was Yan that was caught in no man's land.
Oh, what a pass by Brad. Just absolutely slams the ball onto the front end of Drops' car. Full stride for Drops. One touch and an immediate shot to the bottom left corner. I've got to say, though, Brad is really putting in work for Carnage at the moment. We're talking a lot about Drops in game 1 and even in the pre-match. But yeah, Brad, he's just in the right place at the right time whenever his team need him to be. And, you know, he's not really to blame for that first game loss. You know, it is a team performance, but, you know, we saw drops mechanically not really there earlier on, and then Reppy positionally getting out of the way. Brad has been consistent. Now drops, tries to clear, can't do so. Brad's got him covered with his follow-up save.
This is how you play well from positioning. Almost wiped out the defender mid-air. There's Brad. No, he's not taking any risks here. Wait for the ball to come to you. He's going to be required again. Booming clear. And he has also got himself a teammate. Drops. Back over to Yan. That midfield now retaken control of by Carnage. Oh, good one too. Managed to get it to drop onto the car. Need to find some way of opening up a shooting opportunity for themselves. Right now, Carnage playing with the lead incredibly well. They're sitting deep, and they're forcing the opponents to really work to create themselves a chance rather than waiting for a mistake.
Yeah, speed's starting to be an advantage for Carnage. You know, we said they had to wake up mechanically and they've got to start hitting the ball consistently with power. That's exactly what they've done. And I think their mechanical edge has just shone through after the consistency leveled up in this second game. And that's a miss for drops, but it looks like Snipes wasn't quite ready for it. Brad with a loose touch, first of a few almost own goals. But I mean, he does hit the post there. Not sure how much he knew about it. And, you know, they've been playing really clean this game. It would be a shame for them to fall apart here and concede off a misplay. That's much better for Rebel, but the infield pass goes a bit too hard in front of the man waiting in the middle. And now it's them, you know, in the same position that Carnage were in the last game. Down by 2. Not really any clear view of where the goals are going to come from.
Yeah, and this is where Rebel need to start controlling the ball. They're just launching it long. I don't really see a way through from them on that. I think it's now time to start trusting a little bit of mechanical ability that you've got from your individuals. Instead, easy enough to deal with. Stromic going to do exactly that now. Looks to go for the air dribble. He's lost the ball, though, at the final part. Oh, he backboards. And this has just been a slow easing out of game number 2 as we get the infield pass, and it's in off the post. I said I wanted to see them start creating something. That is how to do it. Drops, try to get rid. Yeah, and that is incredible manipulation of the car to get it right behind the ball.
Yeah, that's just a perfect pass from Yan, and that's a correction of all of the mistakes that Rebel have been making. They've been trying to connect those passes, and they keep overhitting them. Now, that was just hit perfectly. Can they do it again? Infield has been an option for them. It is once more, but nobody's there for it. I mean, Boost is at a premium right now, but you've got to take these chances.
It's going to be into the corner. A lot of work to do, and it's going to be Astromic tasked with keeping the ball alive. Yan over to the corner. 0 boost for Astromic. He steals, or at least tried to steal 100. I don't think he quite got it, though, as Yan bounces it back off yet again. It's up to Brad. He clears long, and it will finally drop down. We're tied at 1 game each.
Yeah, great stuff at the end there from Rebel, trying to keep the ball in the air, trying to get that last center to give themselves one more opportunity. The ball is really not being very kind to them at the end of that game because of the positions it was flying towards. You know, it's going at the corner wall, and you can see Rebel are thinking, is that bouncing infield slightly? Is it coming straight back off the wall? It's just in that horrible little position where you're not quite sure, but you have to pre-jump because there's no time remaining. You can't wait and see what the bounce is going to do. You have to just try and read it. You know, this just wasn't enough. Accuracy in the passing, and more importantly, power on the passing was just too much from Rebel as they attempted this comeback, overhitting a lot of infield passes and clears, which otherwise would have been, you know, easily accepted and utilized by teammates. For Carnage, you know, better defense. They looked fantastic right up until the final minute, where the misses started to come through. The pressure was on. So, you know, I think I would just really put this down to that additional pressure that was talked about in the desk. Carnage are trying to catch up. They're trying to close the gap to the top 2 teams right now. They've got a long way to go. So this is, it's a must-win game for them if they're going to stay in the running for the top 2.
And one thing I do want to point out as well is that when we did see the lads over on Carnage get the lead, we got an awful lot of 3 people either on the goal line or on the backboard sort of defense. So you know, you talked about how those passes have been great, but you get the feeling that if they start zoning in on that sort of opportunity for Rebel, they're going to start connecting. They're going to start scoring an awful lot from it because Carnage is sort of just inviting them to do so.
Yeah, we have not seen any real attempts to get, you know, punishing interceptions on any of the passes that Rebel have been going for, especially infield passes. I don't think I've seen a single interception, you know, attempted, or you know, not coming anywhere near working at least. A bit of a freestyler montage moment from Drops and Brad here. Couldn't quite make up whose mind it was to go for that one, but at least they're both spinning, so we'll let them off with it. About a minute into the third game. I think that's the flow chart right there. You know, double commit on an aerial. You know, are both players spinning? If yes, then it's fine. If no, then, you know, somebody's getting benched. It's quite a savage process.
Oh, wait a second, Reppy left it! Well, he got himself a bit comfortable, but Jan was having none of it. Reppy needed to be more aware than that.
I mean, this is the kind of play where you just can't afford to leave it up to chance. You know, there is a chance that the first player coming in for Rebel is going to fake that. They're just going to go for a fake challenge, but come on. This is South America. This is the major. You don't fake those. You just ball chase. And they're 2-0 up. Not the defensive display that Reppy was hoping for in this game. That's another huge mistake. He's just offloaded it straight to Astromic. And I mean, how to throw 2 goals away in quick succession. Shame to see it, but once again, Carnage under pressure.
And Rebel looking to try and make it free. They are unrelenting here in game number 3. Astromic back to the corner. I know the lack of defensive clears that we are getting out of Carnage. This is the right decision. Just keep forcing them under pressure. Wait to see if they've got another mistake for you. Here's Reppy to try and get one back. Couldn't quite do it. Far too many blue cars flying around the ball. To Jan. He'll have to go by himself. Find the reset. Really curious now what we're going to get from Carnage. Are they going to start panicking this one? Or are they going to trust in their mechanics a little bit more? Really put that pressure on mid-air. Jan does definitely trust his mechanics. There's no real loss there, is there? It's one player for one. You're both going to lose boost. And you are wasting just a little bit of time off the clock. So great management of the game there. As Jan back to himself. Looks for the top corner. Ooh. What a save. And that keeps them still in it. But it has been all Rebel from the off here in game 3. Carnage look like a team that have been dumbfounded at the speed that they're up against.
Yeah, you know, a couple of mistakes from Carnage early on have left them in really dire straits here. But at least that save from Reppy gives them some hope and a chance.
It's happened again.
Brad's just totally missed the back wall bounce, and this is just not acceptable in terms of level of defense. Brad's got full boost here. All he has to do is connect to any touch on that ball, and it's probably fine. That'll give his teammates time to get back, but he's missed it. He could have got it before the bounce. He tried to read the bounce coming back off the wall, and it hasn't worked out. This is a disaster. Now Reppy's actually been bumped as he goes for an open net. It's even starting to go a bit unlucky for them, but now wide open for Brad. He's going to put in the rebound. It has to ignore the defender there, and luckily for them, Astromic has whiffed it, so it's 3-1.
Maybe, just maybe, if they can start to turn this one around. It's so crucial that they do so. True Neutral currently looking like they are going to be moving on. They already know that, you know, 2 of their biggest rivals for those top 2 spots are going to be playing probably against each other later on if results go the way they are expected to. Right now, this game is more about a survival than it is for them to actually catch up, and it's another backboard miss. Almost got punched for it again. The rebound just deflected wide by Brad, who is going to be available for the pass. Gets it behind, and we've got ourselves a real game.
Wow. Well, it almost ended up being 4-1 as a result of some more poor defending out of Carnage, but now they show you how to counterattack. Reppy to Brad into the top left corner. Giveaway of possession from Rebels allowed them back into it. Every single goal this game has been the result of an unfortunate misplay. And now it's within 1. All of a sudden, Carnage thrown a lifeline.
throw themselves to 3 each. Back into the midfield. No real passing options available right now with the way this game's been going. I don't think so you'd need them. Just wait for the mistake. That backboard is saved by Yan. Gets a second one, but all 3 members have gone for it. And even they were expecting at least some sort of mistake that they'd have to try and cover for. Good block. Astronomic has got to try and recover that car mid-air. He's pretty low on boost, but he's done what he needed to do. And that's hold on to the lead. Great challenge as well. That is on target. Drops has got to do so much. And he simply couldn't do it. The lead is back up to 2.
What a dunk by Snipes, to be fair. Drops moving in, thinking it's going to be a free ball or at least a 50-50 in their favor. But Snipes keeps flying, gets a huge block, and puts his team ahead by 2 again. This has been just a disaster defensively from both teams, but they're taking their chances. This is a high-scoring game, and I wouldn't expect it to be any different from here on out. So we've got 2 heavyweight offenses just throwing punches at opponents who have got their chins out, hands down, and their eyes closed. It's all too easy for both these teams to score.
The 2 boxers that consider head movement to be an admission of being weak. We can get it back in. Oh my goodness, we could have been right back into a 1-goal game. And I think many people will look at that shot and say, we definitely should be back in a 1-goal game.
Yeah, absolutely. That should have been it. There is no way that any goalkeeper saving that if it's a top shelf shot. And at this level, you need to hit that in off the bar. It's just a shot that it should be routine by this point. But yeah, both teams are struggling to play with the consistency that we're used to seeing from them. And now Carnage just throwing everything forward. But Rebel have done enough here. They had a bit of a scare in the middle of this game. But luckily for them, Snipes with a huge dunk gave them that 2-goal cushion that they sat on quite comfortably till the end of it. 2-1 leads. Carnage are just 1 game away from lower bracket. That would be shocking to see this early in the tournament.
I'll be very upset because it was also me. I was wrong on my prediction, but
Likewise, yeah.
Yeah, you really shouldn't have jumped into this with us. There was the opportunity there for you to go neutral. But right now, Carnage coming out on the wrong end of a very scrappy game from both teams. And both will be looking at that as one that they can improve from. One thing for me, though, is just we have to reiterate, sort these clears out. It really is as simple as that. We've seen defensive misplays, but at the same time, the midfield is such a simple option for both teams. Just park the car there, wait for it to come to you, because these clears have got no power on them right now. They're right at the players that are just sitting there in third man. And if they can start catching them just that little bit better, it opens up the field so much more for the rest of your team.
Yeah, they're just going to start hitting the ball in defense. I mean, just rewind the last game we saw there. Reppy misses the ball and Rebel score. Reppy centers the ball for Rebel. Rebel score. Brad misses the ball. Rebel score. Astronic misses the ball. Carnage score. Every single goal involves
This isn't the one where you've got to get
blunder.
the deep dive out on how the goals were scored. This
it really is quite
very
simple.
analytically simple.
Yeah, you don't need to rewind 20 seconds to find out what happened, what resulted in the pressure that caused you to concede. No, this is just one huge mistake immediately followed by a goal. So it's these one mistakes, the single outcomes that need to change for both teams because they've both been taking their chances right up until the end of that last game. That's a great shot. Oh, it's just barely off the bar. Reppy's in the right position to clear it. What a try that was with the redirect from Yan. Really deserved to go in after, the quality of the goals we've been seeing today. That would have been great to see.
Back into the midfield. Snipes tries to find one of his teammates. It does get to Astromic. It's back to Snipes. Far too quick. And it is a decent booming ball, but Brad, he's got to at least push that one forwards rather than just to the side.
Yeah, he's got to get that in a safe location, whether that's up in the air, whether it's down the line, whether it's in field or even a more effective back pass. He just has to do anything but what he did there. But, again, it's more defensive mistakes. This isn't from the last man. It's from, the second man getting the last man in trouble. But Carnage they can't get it together in defense. They've got no cohesion. They're making life difficult for themselves, difficult for each other. And Rebel now making huge plays. Yan with a flip reset. And you don't need to question the validity of that one. The mechanics show up huge. And Rebel are just capitalizing on what has been a non-existent defense from Carnage.
And he commits to it so late as well. If you're on the backboard, you're sat there waiting, trying to prep for a potential double tap. And when he turns that car around, you know that you are done for. Yan, an incredible goal to put his team up by 2. And Rebel looking phenomenal here. They have seemingly got their confidence back after what was a chaotic game 3. This is the sort of team that you are going to need to see if they are going to be able to try and take on teams like True Neutral, who have already moved on. 3-1 for them as it comes back out off the crossbar. A little bit of shooting accuracy, and this could already be done. Yan just buys his team some time, gets everyone back. Rebel are mauling them across the field. And it has been up to Carnage to not only wait for their opportunities, but make sure they just don't make any more mistakes. That 3rd goal would finish them off here.
Yeah, that could have easily been it. Brad, huge save from him. But it's the same position that Carnage have been in all too often today. They're trailing, and time is against them. They don't have the quantity of shots to be wasting any time here. And will they be able to take their opportunities when they get them? It looks like the best game Rebel have played up until now. And it's just an unfortunate repeat for Carnage. They didn't really show up in the last major, you know, as individuals. And now in this one, they're struggling again. They just haven't performed under pressure.
We're going to get something going here. That demo does not help. That's off the drops. Good defensive play. It's also a great challenge. Reppy tries to take it first time, and Yan gets there. He has had an outstanding performance here. Now looks at another one. Flip reset! And he ruins the entirety of Carnage.
Second one in a game. And that's after a huge save at the other end of the field as well. Yan just completely stamping the final statement in this game. That is with authority. A huge lead now. 3-0 for Rebel. Carnage not just being sent to the lower bracket, they're being absolutely destroyed as they get sent to the lower bracket.
Now, we have seen crazier things happen in South America, but those tend to happen when a team has at least got some momentum going for them. Right now, this is turning into an exhibition of just how good Rebel can be. This is a dangerous, dangerous team, and they're going to potentially have a great chance to show off, although they have made a mistake. And they have allowed one more opportunity for their opponents.
Yeah, it's a great shot from Drops. And they needed that so badly, like you said. It has not been going well for them. They've not got much time remaining, but they still have something to work with here. It all starts with, you know, just keeping the possession under control. They need to keep this ball, but they've immediately lost it. And as Tromic's shot goes through, unchallenged, Drops leaves the ball, and that's questionable. He left his 3rd man completely out to dry there. 4-1, Rebel back in the lead by 3.
This is worst case scenario for Carnage and their fans. They are going to need one of those legendary lower bracket runs just to keep, you know, this isn't even to catch up at this point. This will just be to keep up with the rest of the region. And if things go as they currently are, it'll be less about trying to catch the teams like Noble, Novus, and True Neutral, and more about trying to hold their spot against a team like Rebel, who are only 300 points behind. Stromic looking to set one more up. We'll say, though, for Rebel, this is a great confidence booster. You would have at least seen them taking on True Neutral, and if it had been like the last performance, you would have said, all right, well, it's mostly who created the less mistakes. But when you see a team start to step up like this, you start to think, all right, it could, you know, True Neutral going to go into that one as favorites, but it could be a series.
Oh yeah, they've definitely got a good chance. I mean, you just have to look at how this series has progressed. They started off just being the better team at the beginning of the series. Then game 2, you know, that's when we saw Carnage really step it up and play more like the team that we're used to seeing. But that didn't really cause any problems for Rebel. They were able to eclipse them completely here. They, you know, had a bit of a messy game 3, both teams, where Rebel were able to capitalize on a whole host of defensive mistakes, but there's no question that it was forced errors, it was forced plays from Rebel that got the job done in Game 4. This Game 4 is the perfect springboard going on into the next round for Rebel, who have got to be happy with how they played here today overall.
Yeah, they will be buzzing from that victory. Like I said, they are now going to take on True Neutral in the next round. Waiting in the lower bracket is Avidity for Carnage, so not an easy match down there. I think there was a couple of other teams that they would have preferred to see, and dropping out this early would be worst case scenario. Bath by far. They were expecting to try and catch up. This is now pretty hard for them. We already see that Noble up 1 as well against Euphoria. So if that ends up going to Noble, if Novus win their matchup, they're already going to start breaking away because one of those will be guaranteed to make it into the winners finals. It's looking bad right now, and Carnage are going to need a great performance throughout not just the rest of the tournament, but also today. This has to be perfect from here on out, and we are going to be able to keep up with how their journey looks throughout the rest of today as well. We're going to go to a break. When we come back, we're going to have Novus take to the field against Catalyst.